Hi, in this video, we are going to discuss about array of structures. So as we all know, structures are collection of elements of different data types. We need a structure because we can group all the related items together. Now say for example, I have a structure called student. Let me write a structure called student. So struct is the keyword, student is the user defined data type name. Here, let me add the student's name, 50 characters. Then let me add the student ID. So all these are related to student. Then let me add the grade of the student, the mark grade. And one more, let me add aggregate marks of the student. So we can see here, structure is the keyword, student is the structure type we are declaring, which contains 4 members, and this is going to be the syntax of a structure. It should be terminated with a semicolon. So as any variable which is of student structure will have sname, SID, grade and aggregate as its members. So when I'm going to declare a structure student variable, I can store one student's name, ID, grade and aggregate. So for example, I have n number of students. I wanted to store the details of n number of students. So in that case, what do? We'll have to move on to array of structures. So I can create a structure array. Okay, so how do we create a structure array? So struct student. If my structure student variable name is S and assume I have 50 students. So I've created a student array S which contains a maximum size of 50. So S of 0 will be the first student, S of 1 will be the second student and so on. Now in this program, we're just going to get the input of students, details, then print it. A very simple program to illustrate array of structures. So I'm going to add a loop. So I is a loop variable. Say for I equal to here, I'm just going to get 2 student details right now. So I equal to 0, I equal to 1. So let me get the student's name, ID, grade and aggregate. So to get the student name, it's a string, right? It's an array of character. Array of character is nothing but a string. So a name can have spaces and so on. So I wanted to get the input for the name till I press a new line. Okay, so for that, we are going to use fGetS function. So fGetS function gets the input till a new line is encountered or till this maximum size is reached. Okay, so fGetS, the first argument is going to be the S of I is the I is zeros, S of 0 dot S name. So I'm going to get the input for S name and the maximum size is 50 and it's going to be a standard input. So what does this do? This fGetS function gets the input, stores it in S of I dot S name. So the input will terminate if I press a new line or enter, or if the input reaches 49 characters, because the last character is going to be a null character, right? So if it reaches 49 characters, because the size I've specified here is 50, whichever is first, till then I'll be giving the input. Similarly, for SID, S of I dot SID, because dot operator is used to access the members. Okay, now the size I've specified here is 20, correct? So, comma, 20, comma, STDIN. Again, for the grade, fGetS of S of I dot grade. The maximum size I've given here is 5 and it's from the standard input. The next one is a float variable. So I can just use scanf percentage f aggregate ampersand aggregate. Right. Now let me remember here, once I give the aggregate, I press enter, right? So when I press enter, what happens? That enter will go as a input for the next one. Are you following? So when I press, say for example, aggregate, I give a 70, press enter. Now what happens? This enter will go as an input for the next student name, right? So I wanted to avoid that. So what I will do, I just use get character here. So what happens? I give the input for aggregate, press enter. That enter will be taken by get char. After that, whatever I type will move on to s of I dot s name. Okay. Now, just to print the input for I equal to 0, I less than 2, I plus plus. I'm just going to print. So print f name equal to percentage s comma name. Then similarly print. So what name I'm going to print? I'm going to print s of I dot s name, right? Now again printf sid equal to percentage s of I dot sid. Then printf grade, right? Grade equal to percentage s of I dot, sorry, s of I dot grade. Then printf aggregate. Aggregate equal to percentage f s of I dot aggregate. Right? So this is what we are going to do it right now. So you can see here we have created a student. I'm going to have n students. So I'm creating a array of structures s of 50. So s is a struct student variable which can have to the maximum 50 students details. So here I'm just using a loop for 2 iterations. I'm getting just 2 students details. So remember, I have put get char because once I type the aggregate, press enter, that enter will be ignored. It should be ignored because otherwise the enter will go as an input again for s name. So it should be ignored. So I use a get char here. Let me run this program and check how it works. So you can see here, I've just given here aggregate. So it's going to be s of I because it's structure, right? S of I dot aggregate. And here again, this is how the syntax is. Now let me run the code. So you can see here printf grade equal to s of I dot grade. And there is some expected semicolon. Let us check here. There is no semicolon here. Fine. Yeah, let us run the program. So you can see here, it's asking for input. Just see the I loop here, I equal to 0. So it's asking for s of 0's s name. Say for example, I'm giving Priya. The maximum size is 50. If I press enter, it goes to new line. That means s of I dot s name input is terminated. That's it. Priya is the name. Then the student ID, if it's going to be 101, then the grade is going to be A grade. Then the aggregate is going to be 90. Right. Now what happens? I've given aggregate as 90. I have to press enter. Now when I press enter, it will be taken by this get char. Okay. Right. Otherwise, what will happen? This enter will move on for the next input. That will be a mistake here. Then what happens? It goes back to the loop. I becomes 1. Now it's asking for s of 1 dot s name. So s of 1 dot s name is Subha. S of 1 dot sid, s of 1 dot grade, s of 1 dot aggregate. Fine. Then I press enter. That will be taken by get char. It goes back to the loop. I becomes 2. The condition fails. So it goes here and it starts printing. Let me press enter. Now you can see it's printing here. So you can see here, name is Priya, SID, this is my output. SID is 101, grade equal to this, aggregate is equal to 90. This is the first student details. Then name equal to Subha, SID equal to 102, and this one. This is going to be the second student details. This is what we call it as array of structures. Hope you understand. Have a great day.